My name is Stacy Whitehead. I'm going to be presenting the business plan of sleep disordered breathing education to school nurses. And looking at the service definition, specifically looking at sleep disordered breathing, a lot of people recognize this as sleep apnea. However, the medically appropriate term is sleep disordered breathing, in which that's what this project is focused toward. Um, in doing a lot of research, it was found that there was a low level of recognition of sleep disordered breathing by providers, as quoted by Goldstein, et cetera, in 2011. Further research indicated, looking more specifically at pediatricians, approximately 80% receive no formal training about sleep problems in children. So it can easily be inferred that school nurses and nursing in general doesn't spend a lot of time educating about sleep problems as well. And so I found this to be the root direction for the project is education to increase awareness of what sleep disordered breathing is and how to recognize it and what to do as far as treatment for it. The long-term consequences encourage the need for early detection and effective treatment. So this includes exacerbations of chronic medical issues. It also includes behavioral issues. You can get children that will have a list of medications as a result of their behaviors or how they're presenting. But if you treat the underlying sleep disordered breathing problem, you could potentially bring them off several of those medications, which would be much more healthy for them. Of course, I can speak more of this, but we're focusing mostly on the business plan here. So, the objective of the project is looking at implementing an educational intervention program of sleep disordered breathing in school-aged children to school nurses. So the location is focused to all the Hamilton County schools within Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're looking at the customer is the school nurses themselves. So this population, their age group's about 40 to 50. So have to be really careful on how we're presenting the information that's very age appropriate, because not all of them are either young or very savvy with technology as well as far as education. I know a lot of our education is done through the computers and stuff too, but I also want to reach them so that they're more receptive to the education. This is a great opportunity for implementing this in the school system. It's never been done before. We're seeing a lot of children don't really have a regular provider. They just hop around between urgent cares and stuff like that when they have acute issues. So if they're so commonly they present to the school nurse with just some issues. The parent will say, hey, just go talk to the school nurse, when you get to school. And if I need to take you to a doctor, I will after that. So that's very common when I was speaking with Cheryl Fletcher, the school health services coordinator, and how they utilize the school nurses in this capacity. So it's an excellent opportunity for the school nurses to screen for sleep disordered breathing by these children who come in for various complaints that are relevant to sleep disordered breathing. We're also a very high allergy and asthma state, especially Chattanooga, Tennessee. We're listed in the top 10. We also have high rates of obesity and hyperactivity nationwide. These are very significant risk factors that are associated with sleep disordered breathing, so there's a high correlation between the two. The threat to this project include low-income families and poverty. It won't specifically affect me, the project itself, as I'm not monitoring the family and their follow-up. However, just recognizing that this population may not necessarily be as receptive to getting evaluated because of finances or failure to really recognize the problem. I don't have any competitors, as this has never been done before. However, it's always good to talk about promoting strategies that'll encourage the school nurses to participate in this project. So we're looking at communication through email. They have a school nurse website as well in which they communicate. The school health services coordinator, Cheryl Fletcher, is the one who does all the communicating, as that's something that she has requested to do. It's important to speak the language of the school nurses so that they understand what's going on. They don't necessarily understand my talk when I'm talking doctoral student lingo. I had a school nurse review the educational module, and there were some changes that needed to occur so that it could be understood by the school nurses a lot better. Utilizing flyers, presenting the project at scheduled meetings. There's been a couple of those already, and there's one actually coming up this next Friday in which we'll be presenting it. I'll be presenting the project again to kind of answer questions and encourage participation. I also use information packets using easy access tools online in which they can access that from any location, as well as printing those out and using standardized screening protocol that's very simple to use. So when it's very simple, it's more likely to be used versus a complex algorithm or screening protocol. SWOT analysis looks here. We're looking at strengths in which we've got the support from leadership and administration. We've got school nurse website, which is great to help with communication to all the school nurses. We also have some evidence-based practice mentors, so they've been very instrumental in helping guide with the development of the project. There's opportunities in which this is a new screening protocol, so never being done before. This is a great starting point to bring recognition for this health problem of sleep disordered breathing. We're anticipating to prevent or control current medical problems, and then also further educating. Hopefully after this project, it'll expand beyond just the school nurses as well. Weaknesses include distances from the schools. The project is dispersed through all the schools, so they're not all located in the same place. We also have, communication can be difficult between leadership and school nurses. They've got their responsibilities, so they're not always going to respond promptly to me or the project when they also have other more important and pressing matters they need to address. The school nurses may resist to a degree as they have their habits, don't want to change what currently works for them. Also, if they have the volume of students that they see, if it's a high number, that can add a burden to implementing this project on top of what they already do. As well as my barriers, this is a new leadership role for me, so trying to implement it and take it on and understanding and learning how to be a leader is important too. So that's something I'm learning. Threats include a full workload of the school nurses, as mentioned a little earlier, so they may be less inclined to do this project or participate as a result. And then we want to make sure that the protocol is very simple to be used quickly, efficiently, and correctly. So that's if it's not, then it can be a threat. And looking at the project itself, how does it fit within this school system? The screenings allow for early identification of health problems, which can interfere with long-term health and academic success. Commonly, these students seek out the school nurse before going to the pediatrician. So this is an excellent opportunity for the school nurse to just be aware of sleep disordered breathing and screen those children that have these risk factors, as we discussed a little bit earlier: asthma, allergies, obesity, hyperactivity, which is your behavioral issues. Those are very key. Other exam, if you have enlarged tonsils, is another factor too, along with snoring. So incorporating kind of that all that information is very important. Currently, the schools do have screening protocols for blood pressure, BMI, scoliosis, dental. They're not mandatory. Their vision is mandatory for obvious reasons. So, but these can be done here and there, and some schools do them, some don't. So it's kind of a labile there. This project is not in a position to screen all students, only those seeing the nurse, so that's not exactly the best location. So you're not likely to get the children who are hyperactive or have behavioral issues. They're going to go to the principal first before they're going to go to the school nurse, unless they failed to take their medication and the school nurse has that. So, but if you're looking at, asthma, allergies, those are going to be recognized. Additionally, obesity, that's not really a reason to go see the school nurse too, but it's not uncommon for those children to have other medical issues. So that's kind of that discussion there. And looking at the organization, who's responsible for this project? Really, it's the responsibility. It's a joint responsibility by everyone. So myself, the school health service coordinator, which is Cheryl Fletcher, as well as the school nurses. So to be successful, we need all these key players. We need the leaders. We need the stakeholders in the project. Other school staff are definitely welcome to participate. They can report to the school health service coordinator. Would love to have their participation as they serve students in a different aspect as well. To implement these changes, we do need the school health services to provide time for the school nurses to receive education. sessions, promoting the project to get school nurses on board with the new protocol. So definitely, needing a champion there for sure. And looking at the service cycle, how is this whole thing going? Well, it first starts with the chief complaint. So they're coming to the school nurse, I've got a problem, I got a sore throat, something like that, or I've got a runny nose. As the school nurse is addressing that chief complaint, she can recognize risk factors. She can ask about symptoms specific for sleep disordered breathing. She can perform an exam, and if all of those are indicating sleep disordered breathing, she will send a letter home as well as a brochure that will educate the student, the parent, or guardian about why they should see a pediatrician for evaluation. And after the encounter, they'll make a note of this in the chart. And looking at the financial analysis, looking at the available market, we've got 78 public schools in Hamilton County, Tennessee. And they are serving over 43,000 students. So all the school nurses will be participating. There's about 90 school nurses that are distributed throughout all these schools. Some have 2 nurses, some do half days, some do whole days. So it's more complex than just 90 nurses. You've got these 10 schools were pre-selected as the places where site visits will occur. So we obtained information, as you can see there to the right, of how many students were seen by the school nurses per year among those 10 schools. And you can see in 2015 to 2016, over 26,000 students were seen. Now, granted, we understand that some of these students are seen on a daily basis, or they're seen for multiple other medical issues. So we're not isolating, how many students singly are being seen as much as everyone who is seen, regardless of how many times they came to see the nurse. So, and looking at the resource assumptions, the physical location requirements will be the school nurse station. Personal requirements will be the school nurses, their time, as well as my time as well, with the site visits and visiting with them on different occasions. The school medical records are where we use our information systems in which we're doing the chart audits as well. That will be further managed by Cheryl Fletcher as well. And looking at pricing assumptions, there's no charge for a sleep disorder breathing screen, so that's not incurring more cost here. And looking at revenue, that one is a very difficult one to isolate, as it's anticipated, you're going to see improved scholastic scores. These students aren't missing school as much, but as far as, cost, the revenue is going to be difficult to isolate as much as it should be more focused on the time, time lost by the school teachers, time lost by the school nurses, addressing acute things. So by decreasing the amount of loss of productivity in that time, you can anticipate increase in, or at least a decrease in expenses there, which would hopefully kind of direct toward revenue in the long run. But in looking at expenses, you're looking at cost of supplies. That's printing out materials and such. We're looking at cost of time by the school nurses. Teachers' productivity loss as well as parents' productivity loss can be a factor too that can cause expenses. You're looking at, when you look at the expenses here, I broke it down a little bit more specifically. Printing copies with the algorithm, the brochure, the flow sheets, various items that are used for this screening protocol. The cost there, you can see 39 cents per copy. If you make 1,000 copies, you got $390. My time, the DNP student, you're looking at, within the state of Tennessee, the average is about 43 an hour. And if you put 50 hours in, you've got a lot of expense there. School nurses, you're seeing about $33 an hour they're paid. So if they're putting in 25 hours just in the sleep disordered breathing protocol, there's an expense there. So kind of adding up all that time, you can see a very good amount of money is freely being given for this project here, which is really important. The implementation of the project, this first part has already run through. We've got through October 2016 to January 2017. was the process of planning, developing the project intervention materials, meeting with the school health service coordinator, Cheryl Fletcher, doing the qualifying exam, and obtaining IRB approval. Now we're into the project, which is going from February to June of 2017. This is where we're implementing education to the school nurses. The project itself is being implemented, conducting monthly random chart reviews and statistical reviews throughout the project, and performing site visits, interacting with Cheryl Fletcher and keeping her updated on the project, anything that's conflict and things that are going great, things that are going bad, and that education there. And evaluating this project. This project is geared toward as a correlational project that will be using quantitative analysis. So we're looking at how is education increasing knowledge and compliance with the sleep disordered breathing protocol. Here, the short term is looking at knowledge increase by 25%. We're looking at compliance with the screening protocol, about 15% increase in that. Currently it's at 0 because they're not being done at all. As the long-term objectives over 3 months, we're looking at 70% knowledge increase, 40% compliance with the screening protocol, as well as a 25% increase in letters sent home. So those are things that will be isolated within the chart protocol, the chart audit, in which we'll isolate that there. Overall, we're looking for increased awareness and evaluation of sleep disordered breathing as part of a standardized screening protocol of all students in Hamilton County school system, as this is a very important medical issue that is under-recognized. Economically, we should anticipate a reduction in healthcare costs because we're decreasing exacerbations of chronic health issues such as asthma, exacerbations, seizures. So we should be seeing that improvement for sure. In regards to, we're also seeing improved allergies as well, should be improved. And looking at the school health system, we're obviously looking for improved student health. And then we're also promoting school nurse leadership by screening these children for sleep disordered breathing. So that's very important within the school health system, is by ensuring that we have healthy students. Legislatively, outcomes, there's currently nothing in legislation about sleep disordered breathing, but definitely we're geared toward Healthy People 2020, as we want to have a healthy population of students. The market outcomes, we're looking at anticipated reduction in days missed from school. We're looking at improved treatment of chronic medical problems, decreased loss of financial costs toward teachers and parents. So it's a kind of a complex, hard to isolate financially how this is going to improve, but you can anticipate increased costs based on the fact that we're not taking away from teachers and parents' time and money there, as well as we're decreasing the amount of medical visits, medications, sickness, illness overall. So yeah, it's kind of a complex answer there, but and hard to measure, but definitely a significant improvement by recognizing this medical issue of sleep disordered breathing. In summary, this project targets school nurses as the gateway of recognizing students at risk for sleep disordered breathing. The goal is to incorporate routine screening into the Hamilton County school system. This gateway is so important in just starting a foundation for recognizing sleep disordered breathing and anticipating that this is going to expand, beyond just this project. The CDC's coordinated school health approach instructs school health services to intervene with potential health problems and wellness promotion. So this is a very good fit of a business plan project within this school system. In addition, students and parents can receive education which will complement this project and help with the coordination of services there. So overall, I anticipate this project to be very beneficial and the first step that I'm recognizing to really start recognizing sleep disordered breathing as a medical issue that's under-recognized within students in general. The American Academy of Pediatrics has also reemphasized the importance of screening for this. So this is pretty exciting to see this happen. Here are references here, page 1 and page 2. And I hope you have a good day. Thank you.